What's up YouTube, I'm Mike, and today I'm going to shoot a quick video on HCG if I have enough camera light battery left. I've had multiple people ask me recently about this topic. I've never really shot a video on it because these videos don't tend to do very well, but since it's been requested now twice, I figured I'd make a quick video. HCG stands for human chorionic gonadotropin. There are a variety of uses for HCG. It is something that is naturally occurring in the body. It is what increases inside of a woman's body when she becomes pregnant, which will matter later on when we're talking about sourcing HCG. But that is in fact what a pregnancy test is looking for. When a girl urinates on a pregnancy test, the test is designed to detect human chorionic gonadotropin. Why we care about HCG is because it offsets the negative feedback loop that is created by using exogenous hormones like testosterone or any androgen. So basically, and this is really dumbing this down, okay? So I don't try to, if I get some of the science off, I'm trying to be as layman's terms as possible. I believe the order is the hypothalamus talks to the pituitary gland, talks to the testes. The way this works is that you have your pituitary gland is what tells your testicles to make testosterone, sperm, a number of other things. And when you start injecting androgens into your system, your body has what's called a feedback loop. It's designed to keep you, basically your body goes out of its way to destroy every attempt that you make at trying to become the Incredible Hulk. Everything we do as bodybuilders trying to become big and strong and muscular, our bodies do not want us to be in this state. Our bodies would actually much prefer, if we were going to gain weight, that we would gain it in the form of fat, because that actually has a physiological use to the human body. You store up a lot of body fat, then you go into hibernation, or food becomes scarce and you don't die because you live off of your stored body fat. When you build unnatural levels of muscle, you're actually putting your body into a state that it doesn't want to be in because it now needs substantially more calories to sustain all of this mass. And it's kind of figured out through the period of evolution that there's not a whole lot of evolutionary advantage to carrying around excessive amounts of muscle mass. So your body has all of these cheap little gimmicks to fuck up your gains. And one of them is the negative feedback loop that prevents you from ever producing too much testosterone naturally. So some of you may be wondering, why is it that the natural testosterone range peaks out at about 1100 nanograms per deciliter? The reason for that is because your body is hardwired to make sure that you do not just continuously produce more and more testosterone. So what happens is, when your body sees that your testosterone level has gotten above where it wants to be, it sends a signal to your brain to turn off your pituitary gland and to stop releasing luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone. These two hormones turn the testicles on, and I think one leads to the other. It's not really relevant to the scope of this video. But when you inject testosterone, your body sees that it has too much androgens in the system and it turns your testicles off. This causes testicular atrophy, which is shrinkage of the testicles, and it stops your body from producing sperm, and it stops your body from producing testosterone. It also stops your body from producing a number of other very important hormones. I'm going to link this time in the description the Wikipedia pages for human chorionic gonadotropin, so if you want to read about that. But more importantly, what you're going to want to look at, and I recommend that you do it right now because we're going to talk about it, is I have linked in the description below the Steroidogenesis Wikipedia page. If you look, it's actually called sex hormone Wikipedia page. But if you look in the production section of the Wikipedia, the first picture on the top left-hand corner, you want to click on that. That's what we're going to be talking about right now. So the reason that HCG is so important is because when you shut down your hypothalamus, when you shut down your pituitary gland, your body stops creating testosterone in its natural pathway. You still have testosterone because you're injecting it, but testosterone is at the end of this creation process. So if you look at this picture, you'll see on the top left-hand corner, you'll see cholesterol. So that's where all sex hormones come from. They all start, we start with cholesterol, and then our body, through a series of enzymatic processes, converts cholesterol into all of the sex hormones that we care about. So you'll notice if you look at this graph here, that you have cholesterol in the top left-hand corner, which gets converted into pregnenolone. And then if you go to the right, pregnenolone becomes progesterone. If you go down from there, you get 17 alpha hydroxyprogesterone, and then androstenedione, and then testosterone, and then dihydrotestosterone. So DHT is at the very bottom of this particular pathway. To the right of the pathway, you see that testosterone aromatizes into estradiol. So this is what all bodybuilders know. You have cholesterol, and bodybuilders don't typically care about the cholesterol process because we're circumventing this. So when you inject testosterone, you're injecting a hormone that is at the very bottom of the steroidogenesis pathway. It can only do one of two things. Testosterone can either bind, three things. Testosterone can either bind to the receptor and make you grow muscles. It can aromatize into estrogen and make you grow tits, or it can 5-alpha reduce into DHT and cause acne and body hair growth and the hair to fall off your head, and it makes your dick work, and it does a lot of things. DHT is a very, very necessary hormone. It gets a really bad name, but if you block all of the DHT in your system, you will feel like dog shit, trust me. So when we're fucking with our hormones exogenously, all we're getting is testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, and estradiol. But we shut off everything above that. So if you go back to the top of the list, you'll see that there are a number of other sex hormones that our body makes, and it makes them for a fucking reason, guys. So you've got cholesterol turns into pregnenolone. If you go below that, you have 17 alpha hydroxypregnenolone, then dihydroepiandrosterone, or DHEA, and then androstenediol, which is another pathway to get to testosterone. So androstenediol can become testosterone, androstenedione can become testosterone. For you old school guys in the audience, you'll remember back in the pro-hormone days, we used to see a lot of these diols and diones in the various pro-hormones that we were taking. That's how pro-hormones worked. The law had not caught up to the science yet. And so it was legal to take a version of androstenedione or androstenediol. And so because you could take androstenediol in superphysiological amounts, you would have more in your system to turn into testosterone. That's why it's called a pro-hormone or pro-drug. A pro-drug is a drug that requires an enzyme to impart its effects. The enzyme has to convert the drug that you take into the drug that you want. There are ADHD drugs, like Vyvanse, I think, is an example of a pro-drug, where you have Adderall, which is just a drug. Adderall is an amphetamine. Vyvanse is a pro-drug of amphetamine or some other stimulant. And so they would prefer to give you a pro-drug because there's a limited amount of enzyme. It's very hard to abuse a pro-drug because you only have so much total enzyme in your body to do the conversion process. This is how we got away with pro-hormones for a very long time, until some genius decided to methylate 1-testosterone and fucked it up for all of us. But so to get back to the HCG, if you take exogenous testosterone and you do not take something to turn your testicles back on, like HCG or Clomid, then you will not have sufficient amounts of all of these other hormones in your body. You will not have pregnenolone to turn into progesterone, to turn into 17 alpha hydroxyprogesterone. You will not have the other upstream hormones in your body. This is why Derek from More Plates, More Dates will tell you that if you're taking exogenous hormones, you need to also supplement with DHEA sulfate and pregnenolone. Because the pregnenolone will give you a physiological amount of progesterone, and the DHEA sulfate will give you a physiological amount of DHEA. You can do this. I don't like to go this route. I would rather have my body in as close to its natural state as possible. So if we inject, for example, not a doctor, not medical advice, but if we inject, for example, 500 IUs of human chorionic gonadotropin twice per week, we can cause our brain to tell our pituitary gland to go back to doing its job, and then our bodies will produce all of the upstream hormones that we need, like pregnenolone and progesterone and all of the other ones that I've just listed. So that is the reason that you should always be using HCG on any of your cycles. Anytime you are using testosterone, HCG needs to be in the mix. It is just absolutely imperative. The thing that you will notice first and foremost if you are not using HCG is that your sexual functionality will not be normal. Your orgasmic reflex will not feel the same. You will generally just feel bad. I just feel bad all over. It is very, very definitive, and you will feel much better. Your sex life will be much better if you use HCG along with your testosterone cycles. If you cannot use HCG, you really do need to, again, not medical advice, take pregnenolone and DHEA sulfate in sufficient doses to try to fill in the rest of that upstream cascade of hormones, sex hormones. Your body needs all of these things. So that is the purpose of HCG. If you can get it, get it. QSC has it. PCT 24/7 has it. There are plenty. We could get it legally. They just recently fucked this up, which is just another example of why our government is trying to prevent men from becoming even more manly. They're totally fine giving you all the drugs that you need to turn into a transsexual, but they don't want us to build lean, muscular, masculine bodies, and they fuck it up at every turn. Turning HCG, when they relabeled HCG as a biologic, it short-dicked all of us, and everything that is out there is absolutely inferior. Do not let your testosterone company tell you that gonadorelin is an alternative. Gonadorelin does not work. The half-life is too short. You have to basically have a fucking IV hooked to your body constantly. So if you are running androgens of any kind, any androgenic compound will shut down your testicles. You need to be taking either HCG or pregnenolone and DHEA sulfate so that you can have a perfectly functioning physiological profile. So there you have it. Questions in the section below. As always, check out the OF page. More content going up every single day. If you need testosterone replacement therapy, hit me up or go to Royal Men's Medical Center. Use code MikeFit at checkout, and they will get you set up on the program. They are now giving Clomid instead of gonadorelin. So it's not the HCG we want, but it's better than nothing. There are plenty of sources for HCG if you need it. As always, if you have any further questions, hit me up on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.